out by firefighters for a decade. More than 2,000 firefighters in this area joined today's 4-hour strike over changes to their pensions.
Well, chief fire officers put in contingency plans in every county and they warned of slower response times, but no major incidents were reported before the strike ended 2 hours ago.
The Fire Brigades Union says the changes mean crews may still be on the front line fighting fires at the age of 60, and that would put lives at risk. Luke Farrington has more.
At 12 noon today, firefighters across the region started a 4-hour strike over changes to their pensions.
That is ridiculous. It's unsafe for us, it's unsafe for the public. So you're here for the right reason. Stay strong, stay united. We've been completely ignored for 2 years. We've approached this in the right way, in a sensible way. We try to avoid industrial action at all costs. We've produced the evidence. The government have produced their own evidence that supports all of our claims. And unfortunately, we're not being listened to, and the evidence isn't being listened to.
About 12,000 firefighters are striking across the country today, and they're sending out two messages. Firstly, that 60 years old is just too long for a firefighter to be working, and secondly, that the pension contributions they're going to be expected to make by 2015 are unaffordable. Both of those arguments are rejected by the government, which says its offer is one of the most generous in the public sector.
It is a job that requires fitness. There's been an independent report done with the support of the Fire Brigade Union. They asked for it to be done. That does show that with proper fitness training, regular fitness training that we all should do, a couple of hours a week, firefighters can stay fully fit.
As things stand, firefighters will be expected to pay 13.2% of their wages into a pension plan by 2015. The government also wants to increase the age of retirement to 60. That's despite a government review showing 66% of current firefighters aged between 55 and 60 don't meet fitness standards.
The idea of 58-year-olds, 59-year-olds, 60-year-olds crawling around on their bellies in dark, burning buildings with full fire gear and BA sets, coming across bodies and rescuing people is absolutely ridiculous.
Although today's action was in response to government proposals, there's been a long history of animosity between the FBU and bosses in Essex over changes to shift patterns and cuts to frontline services. Today's action was disruptive, but it wasn't as bad as industrial action 10 years ago when the armed forces had to provide emergency cover using vintage Green Goddess engines. At a time when most public sector workers are having to make concessions, is this action fair?
They risk their lives most of the time, so you know, they should be getting what's due to them.
Good luck to them. Hope they get what they've gone out for.
Surely if their ability's still there, then why not allow them to carry on doing what they do?
Contingency plans were put in place today. Retained firefighters and other non-union members were on duty. With neither side looking to back down, it could be public opinion that decides how this dispute ends. Luke Farrington, ITV News, Basildon.
Well, earlier I spoke to Jamie Wyatt from the Fire Brigades Union and put it to him that this strike action was putting lives at risk.
No firefighter here all around the country actually wants to take strike action, and they don't want to put anyone at risk. And if you look in Scotland, the firefighters up there are not striking today, and that's because that the Scottish Government have actually decided that they don't agree with the Westminster Government on the pension proposals they're putting forward, and they agree that they will negotiate with our officials onto a different scheme. And so therefore, because they're negotiating, they're not taking strike action. By the very fact that the Westminster Government are imposing the pension scheme upon us now means that we have to take strike action to defend the pension scheme, because it's not safe, because we have firefighters that will be sent into buildings, crawling through hot buildings and debris to try and rescue people who actually need us at that point in time. And by doing so, putting themselves at risk and putting the public at risk, because it's not a job for an elderly firefighter to do.
But you're not the only ones that are having to go through change like this. I mean, for example, the police, their retirement age has already been moved to 60, and they have a very physical job as well. Why should you be a special case?
I can't comment on the design of the police pension scheme or any other design of any other pension schemes, because I don't know about them. But what I do know is the pension scheme that's been designed for the Fire Brigade and for the Fire Brigade Union is not fit for what we do in our job. It's not fit for our occupation. It doesn't take into account the arduous work that we do, crawling through buildings and through rubble, trying to rescue casualties and people when they need us the most. So therefore, the fact of the matter is we're putting our members at risk and also members of the public at risk. So we just cannot accept it.
OK, we'll have to leave it there. Jamie White, many thanks for your time today.
Thank you.
Well, next, the Norfolk town at the centre of a double killing has today been coming to terms with fresh revelations about the couple.
Keith